week's chapter of One Piece, we find out that Sanji is indeed into furries.
And who can blame them? They're all over the place, and all you gotta do is walk up to them, say Garchu, and you get all up in that Mink tribe grill. That's right. The wedding bells are ringing in this week's chapter of One Piece. Yes. Probably one of the biggest shocking twists that I've seen in a One Piece chapter in a long time. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of really important things to take away from this week's chapter. First and foremost, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Sanji's last name apparently is Vinsmoke. Or at least that's what they're calling him. There's probably going to be another translation later on, but this is a really big deal. We finally start to learn a little bit more about Sanji, and apparently he is betrothed to be married to the 35th member of the Charlotte family. That's the Big Mom Pirates, and he's going to be forced to marry some chick by the name of Pudding.
Yeah, and before we get too much farther into this review, I think it's fair to say that we just grabbed the first one we could find to get this review out. And we're not sure if the translation is 100% accurate, and we'll bring up where we think it may be wrong. One, with a bounty number that we read, and two, maybe the last name is a little different. Mm-hmm. There's just a few things that may come to light and may be concrete facts in another day or so. So if we're getting some of that wrong, give us a little leeway on that, guys. But yeah, so one of the other things is this new character, which we've seen before, the Al Capone character comes in, the human castle, and he has a bounty of 3 billion, which is insane because we just got our first character with 1 billion, and he was a powerhouse. So it's interesting to see that we may have a 3 billion character. And it also brings up the fact that this bounty number may be more about how much you mess up the government than how strong you are, or who you're associated with. And Big Mom's definitely someone that has a huge reputation within the One Piece world.
And again, just to reiterate, this might actually be a mistranslation. It might actually be 3 million, which I think would be...
million.
Exactly. I think that would be a little closer to what Capone has actually pulled off. Now, that's not to speak against the character. He's actually one of the supernovas. He's one of those guys who's considered like one of the best upcoming pirates of the entire series. And the fact that he's actually working directly under Big Mom really does speak for his abilities. He's also a really hardcore pirate because one of the biggest things about this chapter, something that I thought was kind of shocking, was that he actually ended up either killing or just completely incapacitating the character of Peckhams, who, at the end of the day, is actually a pretty nice character. You know, he was just happy that he got to see his old family again, he got to go back to his hometown, and to see it ravaged and destroyed and then saved by the Straw Hats, they decided, look, we're not going to worry about you guys anymore, we just want Caesar Clown and we're going to bring him back. But Capone knows that if they do that and they go back, that things are probably not going to work out for them. So he just opens up his hand, this little hatch where you have those two little gangsters sitting there, and they just blast him at point-blank range. And
taking him out.
I love that they actually brought his powers up again, because when they showed them for the very first time, they didn't explain them too much, and honestly, they're powers that I really don't think need that much explaining. Basically, his whole body is like a living fortress, and he's able to, like, basically turn people really small so that they can, like, be inside of his body. So he's got this, like, massive army of, like, gangsters inside of him.
And he can be inside his own body, which is also kind of weird.
Yeah, it's really strange. That scene where he, like, suddenly sort of just appears at that table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really weird.
And as soon as I saw his hand open up, I thought he had the cuckoo clock power. Like, I was like, oh, does he have a cuckoo clock power? That's kind of cool. You know, like, things shoot out of his hands or, like, his chest. But then it was explained, you know, a little more thoroughly and makes sense that he's actually just a giant castle man. But it's also kind of dependent on probably the people he has with him, because we've all seen that an army doesn't actually mean much in One Piece.
No.
Like, there can be 1,000 Marines, but Luffy could still beat all of them. So it's interesting. The guys he has with him are obviously pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, remember Don Krieg? Didn't he have, like, an entire armada of people? But Luffy just wiped the floor with that character.
Yeah, he can destroy ships with one, like, axe foot or something, you know, so it's...
But honestly, I think Capone is a lot more stronger than he's actually letting on, you know. Obviously, aside from the fact that he has just, like, an enormous army and gangsters within his body, his powers allow him to do a lot of really crazy things, and possibly even deflect some attacks. Like, he could actually take them into his body and make them even smaller, thus reducing the actual damage from them.
That's true. And also, it's just interesting to see where his powers come from, because it's a character we don't know much about, but obviously a high-ranking Big Mom pirate, so it's going to be interesting seeing what he does. So, what's the other big thing? We had Sanji.
We had Sanji, who was basically Sanji was just great this week. My favorite thing about Sanji was just the fact that he was taking advantage of the culture of the Mink tribe. Obviously, like we already stated, he's basically into anything that is female and attractive, and he's just going around to all of the female Mink tribe members and saying Garchu, which is basically when you get up next to them and you can rub up against their body, and to them that's not off-putting. They actually really enjoy it. In fact, the male members of the Mink tribe were actually really angry with Sanji because he wasn't doing that with them, but it was just great because Sanji was just in complete total heaven knowing that he could get away with this type of shit. It was really funny.
There's, it's just kind of funny. There's this cultural loophole where he's allowed to rub up on these females. And it's also funny because they've shown so many animal traits because they are like half animal. I don't know really how you divide them. Are they half animal? Are they animal with people traits? Whatever. We won't get
It's hard to say because they really do display both. Like Pekom's this week, there were a lot of moments where he would be like crying like a little bitch, just happy that, my family's safe and everything. And then he'd just go like, roar! Like out of nowhere. So, they definitely display those animal traits.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting because I guess they just greet differently, like animals and cats, they like rub together and stuff. So it's kind of funny that he's taking advantage of that cultural loophole. Nami was there, but she's just being hot.
Yeah, Nami was there strictly for fan service this week, getting to see her get into her brand new costume, which, I'm not even opposed to it. Yeah. I've accepted the fact that Nami is mostly a fan servicey type of character. She is capable. She can defeat people with her powers, but at the end of the day, she's basically like one of the other mascots for the Straw Hat Pirates. Aside from Chopper, she's the sexy one, Chopper being the cute one.
Before we take it back around to what Sanji's marriage proposal means, I'd like to talk about Caesar Clown for a minute, because he is sort of a character that I feel, I'm putting out a theory, is Caesar Clown slowly becoming a good guy? Because he's surrounded by the Straw Hats, and they have such an infectious, powerful, shonen power friendship ability. Is he actually seeing the error of his ways? And I think slowly and surely, he actually is becoming a good character. But he also got kidnapped, so I'm not really sure if much is going on.
Yeah, he's vocally annoyed by the fact that he's having to be forced to do all of these things, but we're seeing sides of Caesar Clown that we've never actually seen before. It would be really strange to actually have him as a member of the Straw Hat crew, and honestly, I think he would be one of the more unique members, because he's sort of like riding that line between being both like good and evil and making those sort of decisions, kind of close to the way Nico Robin was originally when she was introduced to the series. And I would like to see another character like that, because we never really know what he's going to do, how unpredictable he's going to be, and who he's going to end up just screwing over, because Caesar Clown tends to look out for number one.
That is true. He even said, I took some money from Big Mom, blew it on whatever I wanted, now I'm sort of in trouble with them guys, maybe you can back me up. And they're like, no, we're just going to give you to them. And
it's almost like he's made these deals with all of these other like big organizations and pirate organizations that he's going to be so screwed that he almost has no choice but to be a part of the Straw Hat crew. But the thing is, though, what's going to really ultimately lead to that is what Luffy has to say about the matter. And does Luffy even want him on the crew? He's the one who tends to have the final say. Because usually Luffy knows when he wants someone on a crew. Like, he'll instantly see them and be like, oh, I need that guy. They're so useful. How will Caesar Clown really be useful? He's a mad scientist, he's really smart, and he can create things, but we have Frankie and Chopper. Chopper being the doctor, and Frankie being the shipwright, and also the guy who creates all of these crazy weapons for the ship and everything. So, really, what could Caesar Clown actually add to the Straw Hat crew?
I don't really know the answer to that, and the honest opinion that I have about him is he's most likely just an arc companion that comes along for an arc, and then he'll probably be gone or sent to jail or something.
He's the Vivi of this arc, just not as attractive.
Yeah, or no ducks. But the point is that it's a cool theory, and I've heard a few people talk about it, but literally everyone asks every time, is that person going to be a Straw Hat?
There hasn't been one for so long.
Yeah, well, maybe we're reaching the point where we don't need any more, So we'll see what's up with that. Okay, Sanji getting married. This is the first time we've actually had something come up that can separate the Straw Hats that isn't death.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see this dynamic added to the series. Sanji, I think it's all down to how hot the chick is.
For Sanji, probably, because he's very shocked over the fact that he's going to be forced to marry someone. Maybe he's being reminded of his actual family, which he never seems to talk about. Another interesting fact is, not only is he a member of this Vinsmoke family, but apparently he's the third son of the family, which means he has a potential 2 brothers existing in this universe that we may... Rick and Morty references are not allowed today.
Yeah.
He may have 2 brothers brothers who are actually... Damn it! I hate that. Now every time I say two brothers, I think, watch Rick and Morty. It's funny.
You may have more than one sibling.
The point is, we might have actually already seen these characters and not even know it quite yet. Or they could be just completely brand new. The author wasn't kidding when he said that this was going to be the year of Sanji, because we're finally going to learn a lot more about his past, and I am so excited for that.
Yeah, because the thing is, Sanji has made statements. I looked up some theories. I saw some video examples that people have put out. And Sanji looks like he really is an important character. Mm-hmm. I think he even said, the person's name is escaping me. The gentleman with the paw in his hand?
Kuma.
Kuma. He said to Kuma that I'm going to shake up the whole pirate world, And he obviously sort of agreed with him and left him alone. But there's a real reason that he's obviously connected to some very important people. And it would be a very interesting story development if all of a sudden a connected celestial dragon has been part of the Straw Hat crew since almost day one. So, interesting stuff.
And that brings up another important thing. The Vinsmoke family, the family that Sanji is from. How exactly are they organized? Are they a pirate group? Are they celestial dragons? If they are celestial dragons, or at least a part of the world government, how would, the higher-ups even allow this wedding to go down? Because would they really allow a celestial dragon to be married to basically a member of the Big Mom Pirates? Would they really let this happen?
Who knows? Maybe the Big Moms are down with the celestial dragons, maybe.
I mean, obviously the Yonko have a little bit more pull when compared to some of the other pirates because they're so feared.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. But the point is, we're at an awesome point in One Piece. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed this chapter. It's been a while since I've been here. We still do ratings, Corey?
Yeah, we do ratings.
We still do ratings.
He's been gone, but he's back!
I think this one's a 5 out of 5 for me. Very interesting. Maybe not any action, but the story was good. And I enjoyed it the whole time. I'm excited to see this conclude and us get to present and keep this story moving, though. I'm kind of not done with this island, but I want to see where the story's actually going now. I kind of can tell where the backstory is going already. So now let's get back to the present.
Mm-hmm. Action does not always make a great chapter. This was a really entertaining read. It was very funny, especially from Sanji's reactions. You could tell that he was just having so much fun being on this island. The great twist of getting to see Capone show up with Pecoms I thought was really great. Him actually killing him was just a really big shock. And of course, the bombshell at the end of the chapter, finally getting to learn Sanji's last name, learning a little bit more about his lineage, and the fact that he's about to be forced to be married to a woman named Pudding. This was a pretty damn good chapter of One Piece. On the technical side of things, artwork looked really nice. Just a very attractive looking chapter. This is what I honestly consider the perfect read of One Piece. And considering we've been on break for so long, this was just the perfect treat. So I'm really excited to see where they're going to go from here. It's the year of Sanji in 2016, and you should definitely get excited. Now, you guys heard our thoughts about this week's chapter of One Piece, but we want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this massive revelation about Sanji? Do you have any comments or theories? Please tell us in the comment section below and what you hope to see from this arc of One Piece.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure and like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We also have a podcast called The Powerful Nerdcast, so check that out. That's one of the projects Corey and I do together. It's like an hour-long nerd pop culture discussion podcast, which we do once a week, that releases on usually Wednesdays or Tuesdays. So check that out as well if you can't get enough of this crazy duo right here. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Super Comic Guru 9000 is out! Oh, wait, you got a remote. Two brothers, Mexican Armada, quoting things.
And a bunch of old ladies. Two brothers.